Hey guys! So I am going to do my graphic novel mini lesson on El Defo from class. So I picked this mini lesson for 5th grade, and my learning standard is describe how a narrator or speaker's point of view influences how events are described. So my kind of vision for this mini lesson is that it'll be one mini lesson in the larger like unit or lesson. So working on point of view, so like first person, second person, third person kind of writing, and different things like that. So this will just kind of be a part of it. So some of those things might seem like I'm just assuming they know them, but it'll be because they've learned them in previous mini lessons. So to begin with the connection, I will ask students to think about how the point of view of a story affects how it is told. Then they will turn to their partners and share with them their thoughts, and then move to a group discussion. So other questions that I want to ask during the group discussion will be who narrates El Defo and who is the narrator of your life story. So I want them to connect that Cece Bell is the author of El Defo. She's also the main character. So I want them to kind of be able to connect with that they themselves are the author and the narrator of their own life story. I will also ask them to recall from a previous lesson the differences between first person and third person narration and how that connects to El Defo. So my teaching point is students will be able to identify who the narrator of a story is and be able to write narration for a comic strip that they'll create that will chronicle an important event in their life. So to demonstrate this, I'm going to have 3 examples of comic strips depicting the same incident in our classroom. So I'm just going to make up an incident. So this is going to be something that's going to have some prep work and be done in advance. But each of the comic strips will be narrated by a different witness, so from a different point of view. So I'm going to read each one aloud and then hang them up on the board, kind of in a column, like on top of each other. And then I'm going to ask students to point out the differences between the 3. So I'll be able to write in between on the board, in between the 2 comic strips and then the bottom 2, what the differences are based on the point of view. And then explain to them that these differences occur because when an event is told from a different narrator's point of view, things can be seen differently. So for our activity, students are going to be given large sheets of paper to create a short comic strip of an important event in their own life. So this could be anything from like their first day of school to a time that they moved somewhere different, maybe when a sibling was born, something that has like greatly impacted their life. And have them kind of think about while they're doing this that El Defo is something similar to this. So that'll be kind of like their model. So the comic strip must be at least 4 frames and be from their own point of view. So it has to be in first person. They have to be the narrator. Other than that, I want to give them total creative freedom to use any kind of mediums, do it on whatever they feel led to write about. And if they want to do more than 4 frames, then that is great. I'm always going to encourage them to do more than the minimum, of course. So I want students to be able to compare their comic strips to the graphic novel El Defo and see that they're both representations of a person's life and they're both narrated from the perspective of the main character, who would also be the author. And so then to assess the students, the comic strip that they create will be their assessment. So just as long as they meet the requirements of 4 frames from their own point of view, that'll kind of just tell me that they are listening, they're actively engaged, and that they understand what's going on. And so some different modifications, if a student struggles with motor skills and can't use the typical mediums to create their own comic strip, they can do it on a computer. And similarly, if they would need help writing, they could be sent to a resource room, or because we would have some time in class, I could also move around the classroom and help the students that may struggle with writing a little bit more. So yeah, that is my mini lesson on graphic novels. Thanks.